So for my independent novel project, I read A Streetcar Named Desire, which is a play by Tennessee Williams. In A Streetcar Named Desire, there's a woman, the main character, Blanche DuBois, who is a Southern school teacher, goes to move in with her sister Stella and her sister Stella's husband, Stanley. She hasn't seen Stella for a really long time, and she and Stanley have never met. But she moves up there because she says she has just lost their plantation home in Mississippi and needs a place to stay. Stanley and Blanche hate each other. She looks down on his social status and his brutish manners, and he thinks that she's pretentious, scheming, and fake. So the whole novel, they just go back and forth, and they absolutely detest each other. The three of them together, though, live uneasily for a while. It even gets to the point where Blanche starts dating one of Stanley's friends, Mitch. But their sort of happy-ish life all goes downhill really fast, about halfway through the play, when Blanche's past gets discovered. When she was living in that old town, she actually lost their house a lot earlier than they thought, and then she went and stayed at this bad reputation hotel and slept around a lot and basically ended up getting kicked out of the town. So yeah. Tennessee Williams, the author, was born in 1911 and died in 1983. His dad was a heavy drinker, his mom was prone to hysterical attacks, and his sister had a prefrontal lobotomy, which is basically a really big brain surgery, which ended up institutionalizing her, and his partner died. So all of that together plays into a lot in his writing, especially A Streetcar Named Desire, which is pretty obvious if you read it, because a lot of those things tend to come up. He wrote 25 full-length plays, 5 of which were made into movies, 5 screenplays, more than 70 one-act plays, hundreds of short stories, 2 novels, poetry, and a memoir. He wrote a lot. For fosterizing this book, one of the main symbols that kept cropping up is this color white. Blanche means white, so that's pretty obvious from the first off, and she's constantly wearing white. One time when she's like really drunk and really upset, she even dresses up in a long white dress and ends up looking like she's going to a wedding. That's all because she desperately wants to be pure, even though she's not pure anymore. She wants to go back to a time of like innocence and childhood when she was happy and felt safe. But she can't because now she's like not pure and stuff. She was traumatized when her first husband, died very young. Well, he killed himself. And then after that happened, to try to cope with it, she slept around a lot, hence even being more tainted, less pure than she already was. Um, Other than that, though, the two main chapters that occur would be it's all about sex and except sex. They go hand in hand. From the very beginning, there's a lot of sexual innuendo in A Streetcar Named Desire. Stanley throws a package of meat at Stella, which is kind of obvious. And like implications like that, and just lots of flirting happen throughout the whole book. Stanley and Stella's relationship is built on passion, not really like loving or caring or helping each other really. Stanley even he beats her sometimes. When one time that he did that happens in the book. She runs away briefly, but then she goes back and has sex with him that night. So it's just passion for them. Just everything is just very passionate between them, and you can see that through all of their interactions. Blanche, too, is very flirtatious. She doesn't have much going for her now, so she's just trying to get a man to come take care of her, basically. And that's all flirting for her. And then for the accept sex part, the sex obviously isn't about sex. It's mostly about the power and control that, like, between the two. Stanley wants to be in power all the time. Like, he is a control freak, and I would say he probably has some kind of manlyhood complex, just judging by character. But he just wanted to show that he was in control of the relationship, and Stella was the lesser one, I guess, and she was kind of okay with that. She liked it. Um, Same with him and Blanche, though, because there's a scene where Stanley rapes Blanche, and that's obviously not about, like, sex or, like, getting it or anything. It was mostly just that he was mad that he wanted to be, like, the powerful one and in control, and she questioned that. She defied him, she made fun of him, she just went against what he liked to have out of people, and he was angry. The main literary element in A Streetcar Named Desire is the characterization. From the beginning, you basically know the facts, you know what's going on, but the characters you get to know a lot better. Stanley is loathsome basically the entire time. I kept hoping that he was going to change. Like, maybe this time he'll get better, but no, he's just a jerk all through the play. So yeah, his character doesn't really change a lot, but you just get to see how jerkish he really is. Stella, she waffles back and forth between being some kind of like strong, independent woman and being really meek and dependent on Stanley. And she goes back and forth. Sometimes she'll yell at him, and then she would end up crying and apologizing for yelling. So she just goes back and forth. And Blanche, though, she goes through the most change in the play because she, at the beginning, she seems fairly stable. Yes, she's got money problems and is an alcoholic and has sex like a lot, but by the end of the play, she completely, basically loses her grip on reality. She no longer knows if what she's saying is the truth or if it's a lie that she made up. She just doesn't know anything anymore. And I'm not going to say more on that because spoilers. On a literary scale, I'd give A Streetcar Named Desire a 6. It doesn't have a whole lot of different symbols, but the ones that do happen just keep cropping up. They keep occurring. And it's a really good commentary, especially on, like, men's versus women's roles in the time period. On a readability scale, I'd give it a 2. It is so easy. It's a play, so it's just basic language, really. And it's modern English, too, so it's not even, like, Shakespeare. It's just, like, people say what they mean, and that's it. And it's fairly short, too. It's only 179 pages. And I would recommend it. A Streetcar Named Desire, I was on a plane reading it, and I kind of freaked out at the end, but it's very good. And it helps you understand a lot of references. There's references to it. Whenever I brought it up, my parents would always yell, like, Stella! And I never understood that. But it comes up a lot. And, yeah, I liked it. It was pretty good. Thanks.